When does life begin? When you breathe? Or when you tell it? Draw some schematic of your ways. We can adjust the things you take. You have some acid in your brain that comes from someone doing something in equal parts healthy and sane. Must find some way to give the lane to colored lights that need not fade, returning tides behind the waves. Let something rise and take the place of. So this is the story of my mother and the story of my dad and all the kids they went and had. Some that came before me and some that came after I did. Some I know and fell asleep with. Some I'll most likely never meet. But every one of us is still breathing, I think. We all have things in common. In other ways, we're almost strangers. Myriad effects and combinations of experience and DNA, perhaps just our generation. Yeah, we all have things in common. In other ways, we're almost strangers. Myriad effects and combinations of experience and DNA, perhaps just our generation. Well, we all have things in common. In other ways, we're almost strangers. Myriad effects and combinations of experience and DNA, perhaps just our generation. Perhaps just our generation. Perhaps just our generation. You like me like this, kinda stoned, kinda tripping on life, like an eagle in drag. You kinda love me, but the things you should breed in a girl are not things that I can brag about. Sometimes things either feel too connected or too far apart. So disparate they meet up again on the other side? Is this what we're hoping for at this point in life? Alex Chilton singing like a 60-year-old man when he was a 16-year-old kid? How would he do that? How would he know how to do that? But he did, and now he's gone. Yeah, I saw you in your blue years wearing your blue jeans. The next stop is mine. My heart tries to remember things beyond what I don't wear and the people I don't talk to anymore. Whatever it is, I don't think, I don't say, it doesn't matter. A strange laziness gave my pen away. The love you inspired, making them cry, taking the heat from all sides. You stole from the rich to give to the poor, and you stole from me. I try to forgive. You stole from the poor, you promised to the poor. You stole from me, and I try to forgive. You stole from me, you promised to me, then you went away. I try to understand. You don't know where I'm calling you from. You won't know till you follow me home. Till you follow me. Till you follow me home. Till you follow numbers are compelling. The numbers are compelling to me. Random, musical, repetitive, and curious numbers. They make you wonder. I have 10 half-siblings. 5 are older than me, and 5 are younger. My parents were together for 5 years, 2.5 before me and 2.5 after. They were legally married for 5 years after he left. And 5 of my siblings have experienced the divorce of their parents, while 5 have not. Let's observe.
On either side, 5. On either side, 5. On either side, 5.
Well, Mom had 4 kids, and I grew up in her house as the youngest of 4. And Dad's mom had 4 kids, so he too was the youngest of 4. Dad had 8 kids, 2 times 4. I was Mom's number 4, but Dad's number 3, but I'm the only one they had together. A blip.
3. I'm his number 3. I'm his number 3. I'm his number 3.
With her, I was the youngest. With him, I was the oldest. But that's only because, only in whispers, did anybody ever mention the first 2. The first 2. The first 2. A sister born with birth defects, and a brother, an actual brother. Mom miscarried when I was 2, so I am the only one they had together, a blip. The only one who looks like him. A blip. The only one who had his name. Random, musical, repetitive, curious. A blip. The only one who looked like him. Random, musical, repetitive, and curious. Random, musical, repetitive, and curious. A blip. Random, musical, repetitive, curious. Random, musical, repetitive, and curious. A blip. 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 It's not like I was a bastard or anything. My parents were married when I was born. But Mom and Dad had eloped after meeting each other for 3 months. And then 5 years later, he vanished. In between, my sisters thought they were a family. But one day when I was 2, Dad left for good, before I could form one single memory of him. I've always wondered about that day, what made that the finale. How do you walk away from a beaming little 2-year-old face?
One that looks like you, recreated. Here's how. You're recreating. You can do that. Just wait.
I was there, but unaware. I want the day. I want the scene. I've asked.
The girls say.
Dad was great.
The mom says.
It was complicated. All you need to know is he walked away.
Dad said.
Mom kicked him out. He said that on that day he crammed his suits and his records and his stereo into the Mustang and raced into the city for some important meeting. He flagged some kid on the street down and paid him $20 to guard the car. And after the meeting, he was cleaned out. So now he was homeless and suitless. Years later, when I knew him, I asked him, was there another woman involved? And his answer, there must have been. He blamed it all on alcohol.
Mom said.
Infidelity wasn't the only problem. Unofficial seeming bill collectors were showing up at the house.
My sister said.
Dad made life fun. He really loved Mom. He played the piano. But things would fly in the night, like skillets and invectives and the contents of closets out bedroom windows onto front lawns. And Dad went missing, along with hundreds of thousands of dollars of investor money. Mom hadn't worked since before her first marriage when she was a model. She borrowed some money to take a secretarial course, and I was sent to live with my Uncle Bob in Connecticut, another amiable alcoholic with money problems and a fed-up wife. Mom and the girls stayed behind in the house on Manor Lane. There are many family memories from this house. They're just not mine. My sisters have told and retold them until I can see them like a slideshow in my mind's eye. "15 months later, I rejoined Mom and the girls. But the house and the baby grand were gone.
Now we live just a few blocks, but a
The world away, in the garden apartments behind the country club. Mom kept the crystal chandelier and the dress she wore to the Kennedy inaugural ball, and a bunch of heavy furniture that never fit in smaller rooms. By the time my sisters were 8, 10, and 11, they had lost 2 fathers. These stars are in the past. They're things that really happened. An incompleted passes light of time forever flashing. The Cuban Missile Crisis. He came along, he made you laugh, he made your mother smile.
Bum, bum, bum.
No one ever saw you now, your life became worthwhile.
Bum, bum.
You wrote his name in 2nd grade, the second half of first.
Bum, bum.
You found another woman by the time you'd started 3rd.
Bum, bum, bum.
He was not your father, but he danced you Mary Jane's on Oxford style.
Mary Jane's on Oxford style.
You're not his problem. Doesn't kill the beauty to know he's out there, happy now with someone else. Neither safe nor sorry. setting down on paper the machines we all know now so well. Solitary sisters, isolated little girls sell stories to themselves. A few years later, Dad called Mom and they had a friendly chat. He was glad to hear Mom was in love. I met someone too, he admitted. We have a little boy. He's about a year old now and we'd like to make everything legal. Dad asked Mom if she'd sign some papers so he could go to Tijuana for divorce. Sure, I'll sign, said Mom, and I'll take the trip to Mexico too. She came back with castanets and maracas and a tan. I had Dad's nose and hair and musicality, but when I tried to remember him, I just drew a blank. Mom said I was lucky I didn't know what I was missing. Her own dad had split when she was 13. The older girls talked about their happy chapter with my father all the time. They had even used his last name for a while. Present though he was in their minds, however, when he left, he had made no contact with them. I'd wait out front, alone, for the Mustang that never came. One time he showed, though, and this was my first memory of Dad. Christmas time, a Chinese restaurant, and 3 grand presents. The gifts were great, of course, but it was the way he talked to me that sent me over the moon. We laughed and we snapped Polaroids of each other. 2 survive. One of Dad, which I guess I took. He looks very serious with a blankish stare. And the other shot is an appropriately melted one of me. That day was a manic episode, the happiness explosive. We were so alike. This was the beginning Dad promised. Now we were going to see each other regularly, and he was going to bring all his children together. He'd repeat this, pining on our scattershot dates over the years, and in the end it almost came true. But this was the beginning of our real relationship. The intermittent, fond, indulgent, dishonest bond that we shared. After each visit, I lived in suspended expectation of the next one. I just never knew when it was gonna be.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Da 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 da.
Kindergarten. On days I went, Joni made me walk ahead the whole way. I roomed with Mom, but she wasn't there much. The big girls shared the other bedroom. I wasn't allowed in. All kinds of things went on in there. Incense, patchouli, moody blues, CSNY, talking, laughter, yelling, hitting. I listened attentively. People kept mistaking me for a boy. You have your father's thin hair, Mom complained. So she took me to the barber on the corner who justified my buzz cut in this way. Don't matter if she looked bad now. Matter what she looks like when she's 18. To this day, Mom laughs through that story. There's none of this "you're beautiful 'cause you're you" bullshit with Mom. You either looked good or you didn't. There in the cathode light, nobody beamed up right. In a fertile light, no one to walk beside. Yeah, you hardly knew us. That was just our life. That was just our life.
1, 2,
First grade, I got sent to third grade for reading.
3, 4.
And then I almost had another sister.
Jean. 6, 7, 8.
Mom met her father at the Giant Step, a piano bar in New Rochelle. She got my deadbeat dad the gig and he showed up. Went down so she could grab the tips and let admirers buy her drinks, led by the very handsome Edison. What? Mom was passionate and in need of a rescue. Ed was a well-groomed investment banker with a big old house. Both were raising broods of 4 on their own, and soon they were engaged, and we were gonna be like the Brady Bunch with martinis. Yeah, it's never simple, but we'll give it a try. Maybe be alright. Jean was unafraid and she liked me.
3,
And when the parents got married, she was gonna be my roommate. But until then, a few more Saturday nights had to be spent with the latest loser of the babysitting war.
7, 8.
One such Saturday, my knockout oldest sister Diane was supposed to watch me while shy Karen went to a party, but Diane sneaked out. Poor Karen wailed. But Mom had plans with Jean's dad, who arrived in a cloud of aftershave and tapped his shiny toe on the foyer. Mom appeared in glamorous good cheer and ordered me to kiss him, but I didn't wanna. Go ahead, Mom said, give him a little kiss. Ed reached out gamely, but I wound back and fired a fierce little first grade kick right into his suited shin. And today we'd say I was acting out. But then, everyone just yelled. And then the grown-ups went out, and the television went on, and Edison disappeared on the whole, changing the channel on a whole other level. And we hardly knew you. First grade, you learn to add 2 plus 2.
2,
The overheard word funeral on the week-long absence of Jean's dad equaled to me that he was dead. When Mom told the big girls, they cried and moaned like they were shocked.
6,
And I just said, oh, I know.
8.
I wasn't glad he was gone, but I wasn't sad either. I didn't know how much was lost. Diane went to live with her father in the city. And the rest of us were taken in by a nice divorcee who had a sun porch we shared for the nervous, chilly months it took Mom to save up a security deposit. Blood Festival Pop Mom was bereft, unemployed, and homeless. Diane went to live with her father in the city. The rest of us were taken in by a kind divorcee with a sun porch we shared for the nervous, chilly months it took Mom to save up a security deposit. But worst of all, Jean was sent into foster care. Ah, 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 ah.
2, 3, 4, 5,
Mom found an apartment. It was in Tuckahoe, so we switched schools. I was in 2nd grade, Joni was in 7th, and Karen was in 9th. I got sent to the principal's office for wearing pants. He pointed to a paddle on the wall and said next time he'd use it. But honestly, maybe it wasn't the trousers. I don't know how I was behaving. Men landed on the moon. Evil Ways was on the radio and Spinning Wheel. The apartment sat at a dead end by a highway, and at night the passing cars would project an abstract slideshow on our bedroom wall. In the living room, Mom would light a candle and drink wine. The apartment often smelled of the burned bottom of a saucepan. That Christmas Eve, Mom fell asleep, and the candles burned all the way down, through the tablecloth and into the nice oak table. I woke up when the fire department arrived. Yeah, you hardly knew us. That was just our life. That was just our life. Karen was 15, and she wanted privacy. I was 7, and I wanted company. One day, these opposing desires clashed with a bedroom door at the disputed border.
6, 7, 8.
Well, the big kid won, and my left middle finger suffered a severe casualty. The top was hacked completely off. Mom was home and raced me to Nurse Shell Hospital, where the surgeon told her to retrieve the tip of my finger, or I'd have a stump for the rest of my life. Meanwhile, back at the apartment, Karen had tried to flush my fingertip, along with her shame and horror, down the toilet. Thanks to low-red plumbing, my fingertip survived. Mom put it in a baggie and rushed it back to the surgeon, who successfully reattached it. A parent's errand. And they kept me in the hospital for a week with a sling, because they were afraid I might bang the stitches open. I was really kind of hyper. Well, it's possible I was on painkillers, because when Dad appeared, he was like a dream, swinging down the hall in his great suit with his smiling blue eyes. He stopped at the gift shop and got me a dozen long-stemmed American Beauty roses and a music box. When you opened it, a ballerina pirouetted to this song. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I've got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. Mom started selling real estate, so we moved back to Pelham for 3rd and 4th grades. We lived in the center of 3 attached houses on Murray Street.
6,
My favorite place we ever lived.
7, 8.
I planted gladiolas by the stoop. Mimi and Belinda lived around the corner. I could ride my bike anywhere. I played the lead in Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. The director used to drive me to rehearsal in her Fiat, fretting when it stalled about how it was designed for southern Italy. I like the Jackson 5 and Little Women. Mom had a suitor, an older man who owned oil wells in Texas. He took us to brunch at the Hotel Pierre and flew us to a country club in Virginia once, just for lunch. But Mom wasn't interested in him. Mom's boss was a younger, married man who used to come to our house to work sometimes and stay after for drinks. They were selling timeshares, Pocono ski chalets. One weekend, we were supposed to go on vacation there, and I just watched TV in a motel room while Mom was out working with her boss. Yeah, you hardly knew us. That was just our life. That was just our life. Ah, 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 his shoulders in the summer heat, shouting in the crowd, waiting for the president's parade to crawl down North Broadway, screaming in front of the Brook Gardens, screaming at the president. Once scrawny with Peter Pan hair, often mistaken for a boy, now she was a little hefty, with hair down to the shoulders, but Eddie let her up on his shoulders anyway. Screaming on his shoulders, screaming and waving in front of the brick apartment complex where they lived, the Woodbrook Gardens, filled with international couples there for a year or two to complete academic appointments, young marrieds starting out, but mostly the Woodbrook Gardens housed single mothers and their good humor sticky kids, unattended in the 3 hours between school and whenever Mom got home from work, in a sometimes sad, sometimes delicious allotment of free time. Hours of kickball candy, bike riding television. Hours of reading, piano playing, and arguments. Surreptitious kissing, snooping, hunger, and wondering. It was a humble encampment, plunked right down between the mansion of a jazz great and the armed guarded estate of a cult leader. Down the road was an 18th century home of an American horror writer, said to be their ancestor. She hadn't heard from her dad in 2 or 3 years. She was 9. She was on Eddie's shoulders. He was the ever-devoted boyfriend of her oldest sister, the beautiful Diane, that braless truant with the Ava Gardner cheekbones, rattling up to wherever they were living that year in his VW Beetle, with bud cans rolling back and forth, uncased acoustic guitar in the back, and a jaunty grin on his face. Eddie taught her how to play chess. He bought her little gifts. He teased her always affectionately. He bought her Robert Louis Stevenson's A Garden of Verses, the paperback version with a postcard printed on the back. And on it he had printed, "To Mary Brett," with a punch in the eye and a kiss on the cheek. I guess it was kind of a pain in the ass. He played blackbird singing in the dead of night whenever she asked him to. He loved Diane so deeply, he was 21. Screaming on Eddie's shoulder, she finally caught the attention of the president, who looked and sounded just like on TV. For this 1 second, he connected with her. "You," Nixon said with his jowls jiggling. "Hi." She just about exploded inside. After the parade passed, Eddie put her down on the ground but held her hand and said, non-judgmentally, "You realize we don't like him, right?" Eddie was smart, and he was interested in things, but he wasn't going to college. His draft number was coming up. They could see it every night on the evening news. Her other sister had been babysitting for husband and wife psychiatrists on Fifth Avenue and in the Hamptons. Mom asked them to write a letter saying Eddie was crazy or gay so that he wouldn't have to go to Vietnam. The husband said no, but the wife said yes, and dear Eddie was safe. Diane was gorgeous, they said. She could be a model, they said. Mom said Eddie was nice, but called him a good-natured slob with a laugh that made the 9-year-old girl furious. And that year, Diane moved to New York, and Eddie stopped coming around. Karen went to college. So then we were 3, Mom, Joni, and me. At the alternative school, I'd sit at the electric piano with headphones on for hours, figuring out songs I liked. I didn't get math, but I was a girl, so Mom said that was okay. I got kicked out of the Girl Scouts, and I joined the chorus. We sat on gas lines. On my 10th birthday, Joni mysteriously took me out for ice cream. When we got back, Mom was beaming by $100 upright, my very first piano. Right after Dad's 10th birthday, his father died, so then he was an orphan, Mom told me. I hadn't seen or heard from Dad, but I was obsessed with him. It was a secret. I didn't know if he knew where I was, and I didn't ask. I never said his name, but I thought about him all day, every day. I engaged in magical thinking. I will heal this dying kitten. Stevie Wonder said to have a talk with God, so I did, constantly. My mind was very busy with all the songs and prayers and daydreams and things. I was in a superstitious, hyper-magic, cheek-chewing, knuckle-cracking, music-wishing, God-begging mind state that transported me from lonely days and smoky rooms and constant squabbles. I barely slept. Mom, can we go now?
I hate it
All
here.
I ever hear is complaints.
Other people don't move every year.
Joni and Mom fought like cats, and I hated that. The three of us moved into a one-bedroom, and Joni started leaving for Pelham every Friday after school without saying goodbye. I consumed books and continued to pray that my father would find me. On my 11th birthday, Mom drank and smoked a lot. She had a lot in her mind. And then on my 11th birthday, the phone rang. Hey, Dad sang, how about lunch, like we talked yesterday? I ran to tell Mom. She rolled over and yawned. See if it happens. It did. Date number 2. We went to a block party on West 75th Street. I love the steel drummers. Someone made a caricature of me that made me look like one of those girls. At the end of the day, we sat in Dad's car, and he vowed that we'd see each other regularly from now on. But a few months later, Joni wore Mom down, and we moved back to Pelham in the middle of 6th grade. And what I didn't know was that while we'd been away, Dad had moved there with his new family. And his new wife had forbidden him to see me. I don't hear a single word of what they're saying to me now. I know they're mad at you, but I'm the one they're yelling at somehow. Holding hands. They were small and blonde, just like their mom. Cute, but I look like you. And when I say hello, the yellow wind of you just keeps on going, sucking all the air out of the world. You can just walk on by. You can pretend that I am no one. You can just walk on by. You can do that. You're supposed to love them, even when they're ugly and they're dumb. But it was just a fever, and all the other symptoms are long gone. Where's a missing piece? things you say. 'Cause when I say hello, the hello wind of you just keeps on going, sucking all the air out of the world. You can just walk on by. You can pretend that I am no one. You can just walk on by. You can do that. You can just walk on by. You can pretend that I am no one. You can just walk on by. You can do that. You can do that. You can do that. You can. You can. You can. Oh, you can. You can do that. It's a challenge to live in the present, when every quarter represents some other better time you don't remember. They came to collect, so we moved to a new avenue, a new venue for you, always used. Rearranging the remnants, the stories attached, forever fused. It's a challenge to live in the present when nothing is consistent, so I didn't. I lived in my head, swimming in a tape loop of fragments of things I heard and saw. If Mama was married, we'd live in a house as private could be.
Lived there when you were a baby.
Just Mama, 3 ducks, 5 canaries, a mouse, 2 monkeys, 1 father, 6 turtles, and me. If Mama was married. Besides driving through the beautiful neighborhoods to look at the bright houses, TV and movies and show-tune albums were our fun. Playing Snow White had sent a signal. I wanted to be an actress, a singing, dancing, TV, movie, stage actress. But I wasn't interested in someday. I wanted to be an actress right away. Like Jodie Foster or Tatum O'Neal. Tomboy girls who were tough little adults. The adult world loved them for it. Jodie Foster, Tatum O'Neal. 2 bright spark children of divorce. One who had education and the stability to burn slow into a successful life. One who burned maybe a little brighter, but then burned out. I love them both, but especially Jodie Foster. Not in a stalkery way, just inspired by. She was the youngest of 4, and I think her father was gone too. I saw everything she did, replayed dialogue in my head like songs in bed all night long to post-movie pre-dawns. Walking home alone, waiting naked for cold water to turn hot. I studied with an ancient Russian ballerina at the Ansonia Hotel, where I found an ad for an agent. and I asked Mom to take me. I typed up all the plays I'd been in and the names of my dance teachers. The agent was a woman in an office. Mom took me to the meeting at the agent's office, and the agent agreed to take me on. And a whole new set of signals started coming through.
Ground control to Major Tom.
How much do you weigh?
You're never alone.
Suck up your
You're
chin.
never disconnected. I'm moving to Daddy.
You're not leaving me with her?
You think your father gives a shit?
I was never going to be a model like Mom and Diane. But you don't have to be beautiful to be an actress. You just have to be smart, responsive, imaginative, willing, confident. It's a discipline with skills you develop. For an actress, it's actually good to be both ugly and pretty, but I didn't know that then. I just felt a powerful desire to communicate something, and I wanted to be noticed. I had headshots taken. Mom said I could get a nose job. I was no Valerie Bertinelli, but I wasn't fat, and the Dorothy Hamill haircut was trendy in a wholesome way. The agent sent me to audition for the movie version of Hair. I already had the album, I knew it by heart.
LBJ took the IRT down to 4th Street, USA.
You won't get it, the agent said, because they're looking for older people, but it will be a good experience for you. Diane took me. We waited for hours. Hundreds of hopeful songs in their heads, headshots in hands. Someone working there spotted Diane. She told them she wasn't signed up, but they said she should audition anyway, so she did. She's got it. Now, baby, she's got it. I passed the dance part and was brought before Milos Forman and Twyla Tharp and a bunch of other people to sing. I met a boy called Frank Mills on September the 12th, right here in front of the Waverly. I had sung the song with feeling and expression 100 times at home in my living room, but this time in front of the famous movie director, it was like my whole body was made of chattering teeth.
Very superstitious.
I was 14. I didn't know how to put this opportunity in the context of a life.
You can't always get what you want.
I didn't learn until later
What you want.
that you have to be brave in the face of others' judgment. Now I know that you have to go to hundreds of auditions, write hundreds of songs, try hundreds of ideas to get to the things that work. Being an artist is all about taking a whole roll of pictures just to get the one good shot, and accepting that the unseen, unused bad ones are part of the process. My agent was undeterred when I wasn't cast in the movie version of Hair. But a voice in the kitchen said, "God, I wish you'd give up this stupid dream.
You've got to change your evil
When you're a jet." A few days later, someone from Hair called Diane to invite her in for a callback. She blew it off. I never went on another big audition, but I kept taking ballet with the ancient Russian. I took any part I could get in local plays. I played the piano, a creative cyclone alone. And I started seeing guys. And so did Mom. Ba-ba-ba-da. Here's what I remember. 10th grade. I heard my name, but I thought it was a dream. And then I heard it with my ears. Mom, but another person entirely, calling for me. She knew I was there, and she called me for help. That much of her was her. He was hurting her. I just reacted. I cracked him over the head with a can of hairspray and drove her to the cops. If you wanna go home, you nothing that far, but they don't want you to know how to play in the park. And since they've messed with the mirrors, nobody knows who you are. next day. I tiptoed tea and crackers into her darkened room. She promised she'd never see him again, and we cried. I was supposed to leave for the school field trip, and I said I'd stay home, but Mom insisted, so I went to wash a load of clothes, and the dryer burned up all my jeans. Mom called Dad, and he came and got me, bought me some clothes, and went back to his other family. If you want to go home, you know how to drive, and it's no wrong way to go, just how to decide. I know you want to believe that someone's enjoying the ride, and real life, and real life, and real life, and real life. I went on the ski trip. When I got back, Mom's eye was mostly better. She said he had apologized, and that she had forgiven him, and that it was really none of my business anyway. Another Friday night cruising around Pelham with Mike Morrissey and Chris Tone, aka Tone or Toner, rhymes with stoner, but he wasn't much of a smoker. Somehow we got to talking about my dad. So, where does he live again? On Monterey, down from Mike. But which house, press Tone? Farther down, near the Steakenston, Mike. Which house is it, said Small town? We were there already, yeah. An immense place in the Tudor style. Okay, I said, we've seen it. Now let's go. No, Chris said. Let's go in. We'd met doing Bye Bye Birdie. He played the English teacher, a person with authority. I sang Going Steady wearing pajamas. Just what is it you want to do in there, inquired Michael reasonably. I don't know, just look around. But why? I squirmed, ready to pull the nachos back out of my gut. I don't know, said Chris. I just hate the guy. Ours would be a brief romance, but this was just the beginning, and I was prime chivalry material. Michael said something like, so you're gonna scare the shit out of his kids? I won't get caught, Chris said, but I might just have to bring Mary back a souvenir. So then he went in to their house. I slid to the floor of the Tone family station wagon. What the hell is he doing? He's trying to impress you, said Michael. It would be a year before we'd realize that we should be the couple. Go get him, please. I won't be doing that, Michael laughed. You go. They can't catch me in their goddamn kitchen. Michael squinted up at the place. It really was something. Suddenly, Tone was back in the car with a spatula in his hand. Their spatula. For me. For you, my lady. He was into this medieval thing I didn't really get. Just go, I hissed. Yeah, haul ass, Hamburglar, said Michael. We screeched away. I took the thing, but I didn't want it. Chris crowed so high on adrenaline he hadn't noticed how unimpressed we were. Did anyone see you? I was still petrified on the floor of the car. No one, get up already. I had to ask, what was it like? He told me. I slid up and exchanged a look with Michael in the back seat. It was a well-worn pattern of ours to criticize my father for living well. I stared out the window at our pretty little town, and nobody spoke for a bit. Chris became contrite, aggression retreating, tenderness returning, head tilting, and me. He had been thinking about what all this said about him and not what it was doing to my insides. Hey, I'm sorry, Mary. Why don't we go do something? Nah, I think I just want to go home. I didn't, but I did. So they dropped me off in front of the Biltmore and I took the stairs to the 4th floor. I could see by the shoes that Mom wasn't alone. So I waited a minute and then I went back out for a walk. Chris was my knight in shining armor that night. But before long, he dumped me for the leggy German exchange student staying with his family. And not long after that, I decided it would be a good idea to stop eating. She didn't really know why she was there. They were nice to her. They took her in. It's not like they knew her. They really didn't seem to know why either, why she was there. Besides the fact that she was just so thin. A nice family. 3 robust daughters, a mom, a dad, 6 horses, a bunch of dogs, 10 acres. In Greenwich. They really didn't know why she was there. Her mother would drive her up and leave her, and she would stay a few days. The mother was stiff, the dad in his office, and the girls friendly in a mystified way. She didn't know a thing about horses. They took her on the trails to ride. They were competitive horsewomen and teachers and trainers. She didn't know one thing about horses, but she liked them. The animals were so powerful, so quiet. One day, they set out with some other kids, 10 or 12 horses in all, a big crowd of horse kids and her. A birthday trip, a long day, a beautiful day, a winding trail, the bumping hard on those bones. She didn't really know why she was there. She really didn't know why she was there, but she kept her eyes on the trail and she held on tight. A concentration like ballet. And at the end of the day, sunburned and thirsty, bone-tired and sore, they went back and they patted her on the back for not being a complainer. Such a good kid. And then they went out to dinner without her. The 3 daughters, the mom, the dad, they had plans. It was arranged. They couldn't change it, and they couldn't bring her. She didn't mind, did she, staying at home in the great old house? She didn't say, did she, that she got scared in her apartment at night. Her. 5 bedrooms, 10 acres, in Greenwich, in the dark, and she didn't even know she was there. Tried to call her best friend. No answer. She tried to call her other best friend, but he was out.
I don't know where I'm calling you from.
So she wandered, scared the living room, scared the bedroom, scared the kitchen. She took a cookie like a thief, putting the box back exactly where she'd found it. And back upstairs. She couldn't go to sleep, couldn't go to sleep, couldn't go to sleep, couldn't go to sleep. A massive house, no one there, a bathroom mirror, a cabinet where amber cylinders stared and called to her in bitter voices. It didn't matter, it wouldn't matter, it didn't matter, it wouldn't matter, it didn't matter. She wrote a letter. She wrote a letter thanking him for being the one who could hear.
It wouldn't matter.
Silent, swallow, and now I lay me down to sleep on the floor of the guest room. Hiding in the the morning, she woke up. Her mother's car pulled in the drive. She got in. And she went home and told it all to no one. So I learned how to party. I recovered. Did it without the shrink. I focused on singing. I fell in love with Michael. I graduated. Dad said he'd help pay for college, stretching the lie just long enough for me to move into the dorm and then move out a week later when he confessed on the payphone that he was broke. I moved to Boston, where I did bottom feeder work at newspapers and waitressed, magnetically discovering a whole league of fatherless girlfriends, new sisters. I was finishing my BA, a few courses at a time, wondering how anybody knew what to do. Boston, so many great bands. I got a guitar, started to sing shyly in the subway. Then Dad wrote, sober, having had an epiphany. Mom was the love of his life, so I was therefore precious. I discussed it with my therapist for a year. And then Dad and I went out to dinner. He seemed sincere.
This is just a short note to say thank you. Thank you for seeing me and for sharing so much of yourself with me in such a short amount of time. I guess you're not a praying type person, and basically neither am I. But in the program, we all believe that there's some kind of higher power, someone or something that we can turn our guilt and fears over to. It could be God or an old shoe, whatever works. So, I thank my old shoe for the chance to see you and appreciate how much you're doing.
I won't leave you alone. I would rather tear this flesh from my bones. I won't leave you alone. I never thought I would surrender to you. Never thought I would surrender. I never thought I would, sir. I won't leave you alone. I would rather tear this flesh from my bones. I won't leave you alone. Little sister's gonna tell you what it is. Little sister's gonna tell you what she did. Little sister's gonna tell you how it was. Little sister's gonna tell you what she's done.
I know you'll be in touch and in your own time. I'm in no rush to push. I'll be here, as advertised. The tape is rough, but when I get better with the tone and volume controls, something might yet come of my music. One never knows, do one. In the meantime, thanks, and peace, and love.
Daddy, we hardly knew ya, but we know, oh we know, it was your broken little hearts that threw ya. So we go, oh we go. Oh, Daddy, we hardly knew ya, but we know Oh, we know it was your broken little heart that threw us through the smoke, through the smoke. What I want, what I want, when I want it. Yes, I want what I want, what I want, when I want it. Yes, I want what I want, what I want, when I want it. Yes, I. Broken little hearts that through ya. I want what I want, what I want, when I want it. Yes, I want what I want, what I want, when I want it. Yes, I want what I want, what I want, when I want it. Yes, I want what I want, what I want, when I want it. Karen came last Christmas. I hadn't seen her in a couple years. It was like she was a stranger. She wanted to reminisce about the good old days in Pelham.
Remember that time Mom, her dad, was sleeping with Mrs. Peterson?
The mother of my friend. I got pissed that Karen couldn't think of anything better to talk about than 30-year-old sex gossip about dead people. Our kids were listening. So I left the room. She followed me.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say bad things about Dad. He was a great father.
Are you kidding me? He was so cruel.
What do you mean?
Well, he adopted you all, and then when he and Mom split up, he just left and he never came back for you. You loved him.
Oh, yeah. He was different near the end. I remember the day he left. It was his birthday.
What? How old were you?
13. I baked him a birthday cake.
And did he eat it?
I don't remember.
How can you not remember?
I don't know.
Karen, did he stay and eat the birthday cake you made him?
No, I don't think he did.
Jesus. I hugged her.
But you know, I was a big girl. I didn't need a father anymore.
Karen, 13-year-old girls really need fathers.
They do? Mom said,
When does life begin? When the dog dies and the youngest kid graduates from high school.
Dad said,
You are the most perfect person in the world to everyone. Psychologists and dog trainers agree. Intermittency is the hook. What'll it be this time? Stay tuned, ever ready. Don't relax. You never know what's going to happen. Don't go to sleep. You might have to wake up in a big hurry. Who doesn't wonder how things might have been different? I wasn't fine, but I am now. Eventually, if you're lucky, you grow up. And it helps if you have your own beautiful kids. I want to let this stuff go and move on. To colored lights that need not fade. It starts again now, anyway. Let something rise and take the place. When a cold wind is fire, when the air is like hands, when the sun knows who's shining, when your friends have gone to dreams, when the night is a blanket of wine, when people are too many things. I'll explain it sometime. Shins banged up from dancing around the living room to the early music of impatient daydreams, distracted by the sunset on the underwings. All birds and all children are perfect. Like you, my brothers and sisters, wherever you are. In the path of my destruction, something went right. It's a mystery. It seemed to happen overnight. Between the dark and light. Not because you couldn't fly, you ragged bird. You took a strange thrill in slipping off your filthy perch. A strange pride in parading back down to earth. Brothers, sisters, did we pilfer, did we lift? No, we just reached in with our fist in a wish to grab whatever we could get. The same as anybody else. Well, you laid me down to sleep, there's nothing to fear, 'cause we're alone now, and it's the first day of the year. The first time anybody's ever tried this here. Brothers, sisters, did we pilfer, did we lift? No, we just reached in with our fist rush to grab whatever we could get. The same as anybody.